Hello everyone, it's Kelly again, and we're on our 11th episode of Oxygen Not Included. So in between episodes, you'll see there's a big difference between cycles. So I ran into a few issues, so I try to correct them off camera, so it doesn't get you know, redundant. So I had big issues with my cooling loop, didn't really work. My aqua tuner kept on overheating, getting damaged. For some reason, the steam that it was generated didn't really work. It was not hot enough to turn on the steam turbine we had. So I tried to destroy this. Took a while because the steam was stuck. Temperature would not go down. So constructed some metal tiles to transfer the heat from our cooling loop and cooled all that down. Then all our water is down here now. It's nice and warm. We've got this one here that run along. We'll see if it works soon enough. I put it a little bigger. I put a layer of oil because that's something that I saw on the internet. So I'm gonna give that a shot. The idea is that it will help move the heat across everything, like the aqua tuner to the oil through the whole zone. So I got the oil because I found a few slickster eggs, so I let them hatch. Unfortunately, this area was too cold for them, so they all died. Got another 3 eggs coming. I still got another 8 cycles before they show up. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be set up to be able to keep them warm just yet, so they'll probably give me a little bit of oil and die again. It is what it is. So I'm in the process now of destructing all of this monstrosities that I did and try to put another steam turbine, and hopefully this time it'll work fine. But one thing that I've noticed is that I ran out of algae, so my oxygen diffusers were not running for a while, so my oxygen pressure slowly coming down, so 800, so it's not worked the best. I even installed a second one over here, but as you can see, there's no algae left. I guess this little setup here that's used the slime that I collected, 17 tons of it, through an algae distiller. This thing outputs polluted water that goes into this reservoir for now, for eventually being used in something better. One thing is nice is that the Paku farm looks like a... Oops, I passed it. Nope, the Paku farm does not work. I had 11 about a cycle and a half ago. So I'll have to look. Maybe they do die now. Oh no, I bet you when they say they're overcrowded, they're probably... Nope, they do still lay an egg. So, not sure exactly what I did wrong. Uh, Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to use that as my mean of food. I'll keep looking, maybe with an update there's a new way to do it, but I think all that work we did doesn't look like it's working. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So what I wanted to do today is I created this little area here. I'm gonna try to build electrolyzer, which is our oxygen producing. So we're gonna use this to generate hydrogen. So it's gonna take uh, water and just break it back, as you can see, into water and oxygen. So it's gonna give us a lot of oxygen, a little bit of hydrogen. The hydrogen we're just gonna, for now, pile it up on top of the base. It'll keep going up as we keep digging. And the oxygen, well, we'll just try to cool it through with our cooling loop. I found a few nice design that I'm gonna experiment, maybe in the next video. But for now, our big thing is to put oxygen into the base so we don't die. The idea of putting it over here is that I'm going to be able to pool the water that's generated by the cold steam vent, and since the water is already hot, it won't be too much of a deal to burn the hot water into here. because the electrolyzer automatically output 70 degrees temperature and a little higher in the if the water we use is how to say, if it's warmer. So I'm gonna start putting one electrolyzer. So I'm gonna try. It didn't work too well last time, so I'm gonna try to make it self-sufficient. So I got an electrolyzer that's gonna be sitting on a set of air tiles. I forgot to raise priority so that this can happen. I'm gonna insulate this room just to make sure that the heat that's gonna be generated here doesn't go through the base. In between sessions, I'll probably just finish the walls. So the electrolyzer is gonna output a little bit of hydrogen, a lot of oxygen. Since the hydrogen tends to get on top, so I'm gonna have a little path up here, very small, so that the hydrogen can make its way. I'm gonna copy this like this. So the hydrogen will go up, and the oxygen will go down. There's only gonna be a little bit to be able to, because we're gonna use a pump. Where is it? There's my gas pump. So this gas pump here is gonna be kind of creating a vacuum, and it's gonna create suck all the hydrogen through it, and it's gonna force it out. If you go here, I'll show you. So it output 888 grams of oxygen, and unfortunately a pump only takes 500. Does it show? No. But I can tell you, it only takes 500 grams of hydrogen. So you need 2 pumps in order to output, to fill up 1 pipe. So what's gonna happen is that they're both gonna output not quite full pipe, which is gonna be a thing that is actually gonna be fairly annoying, at least for future for our future. Well, losing my words. So eventually we're gonna have to want all full pipes in order to cool them properly. So I'm gonna have to make sure that those pumps either merge 2 or 3 of those together, so to make sure that we have proper pipes and that oxygen gets cooled properly and all together the most efficient way as possible. So this one here, we don't want to make sure that the hydrogen doesn't get sucked by those two. There might be a little bit of that happening, but overall we're gonna try to make it fairly safe. So this one here is gonna take the hydrogen, it's gonna output it this way. I'm gonna use a little filter that I've discovered. Well, not discovered, but stole from someone on the internet. Nice fancy filter that doesn't require any, how would you say, any power. So we go into ventilation, we use a gas valve. We're gonna put our gas valve on the top. Over here. Yep. And then the gas valve's gonna output into itself. So just let them build that for now. Would be able to do the same thing for the oxygen, but not too worried if somehow they get to suck down some of the hydrogen, since it just outputs into the base. For now, I can live with it. I'm gonna put 2 gas vents. Where's that pipe going? Very far. Oh, I could output one on each side. So one's gonna just output on this side of the base. The other one, if you remember, goes all the way up into our filter. This one, try to look for hydrogen, oxygen. If it sees it, outputs it on this side of the base. So I'm gonna try to make that happen. Like this. So our 2 pumps get the oxygen out of here. I'm gonna deconstruct. No. Just some. This one here is kind of annoying, but I'll just destroy this area and be able to construct it. Just don't want to do it right away. I want the chlorine to get into our plans right now. So one thing we need to do with this valve is first we set it to 1 gram so that it only outputs a very slight amount of it back into itself. And then it's gonna output everything over here. Oops, wrong one. So there's gonna be, every time it takes a little bit of oxygen, and gonna force it over here, but only 1 gram. Everything else is gonna be forced out. So this way. And then here, I'm gonna put a nitrogen generator. So it's gonna be able to use that hydrogen and actually power our base. I'm gonna put it here. So only hydrogen will be able to go through here, because all 4 squares gonna always be filled with hydrogen. As you're gonna see, it's just gonna rotate on itself. And I'm gonna use the idea of the gas bridge, where it'll only be able to let the hydrogen go through the bridge if it can fit in here, and only one element can occupy a square at once. So everything's gonna go bypass this, get into the little filter, and then the filter will make its way to the generator. So one thing I'm gonna have to do is get a little bit of hydrogen. We have that filter here. That works fine. Let me, because I destroyed portion of it. So I'm gonna destroy this. Hopefully they'll be able to. Just to make sure that the hydrogen actually makes its way the other side. Oh, I can just... yeah, so I can just deconstruct this instead. And force... there. I don't need much. I just need enough to start the system. And then I'm gonna connect a pump over here. That's gonna grab a little bit of hydrogen. And then it's gonna come here. Oh, is it powered? It is not powered. Make sure it's powered before I do anything, so I don't mess up everything. So it's gonna... oh yeah, it was powered. It just... oh, my bad. It's been a while since I looked at this portion of the base, but it gets its power from down here. So we were good. It was just purple because it's not in use. There's nothing requiring power at this time in this area. So my pipe is done. This is powered. Bring power to the pump. And we should shortly have hydrogen going this way. We're at priority 7, so that'll work. Let's speed this up. Also, one thing that I did, I started a third farm because I messed up here again. I do a lot of things, but it was only hatches in here, and I wanted to upgrade to stone hatchling. So I started a third one. This one now is filled. They still drop a bunch of eggs. The egg's gonna go here eventually. Start those back again because my quantity of coal slightly dropping. 21 tons, still a lot, but I have 3 coal generator running because this one here requires a lot of power. Oh, there we go. So we got steam. It's only 103 degrees though, so it's not quite hot enough. So I'm gonna have to construct just a tile, since I got the cooling pipe that goes under. And also this area works extremely well. Our sleet wheat is Uh, 0.1 degrees works fine. And one little thing that I did, I installed the valve so that it outputs just 535 grams. Because if you remember, all my sleet wheat consume 534 grams. So I got slightly over, just enough so that there's always movement. Because if you look here, like the water is at 2 degrees, so it's really close to be freezing and destroying the pipes. So I want to make sure that it doesn't sit. So everything that doesn't get used by the sleet wheat get shuffled back in here. Since there's micrograms, it warms up really quickly just from the temperature of the room, and then makes its way back. And if for some reason this was to use all the water, well, I got a pipe here that will just replenish it. So we got the little bubble that keeps going into it. So that's what I did in between sessions. I made sure that the cooling would go cool this. We also make sure that the power generation would get cooled. Got a little bit of everything. It's actually pretty good now. The water is still pretty cold. Cool. The mealwood are nice and happy as well. 19 degrees. Sadly, our dupe is doesn't really like to go in here. It's a little cold for him, so sometimes he'll just walk out. But soon enough, we're gonna have atmosuits, and I'm gonna move things around in here in order to get one set of atmosuits, so that Bert, I think, yeah, so that Bert can go in a big fancy suit, and that he doesn't have any problem from the cold. What have we got for lime? Yeah, let's go for lime. Lime is going to be used later to produce iron. I was going to do that today, but when I realized that I was running out of oxygen, it became a big issue, and was forced to do that right away. So let's check our gases. So my filter didn't work. Somehow I got... Oh, that's what I did. So there should have been an oxygen... sorry, a discharge here to force stuff to discharge. Because right now there's no way for the oxygen to actually go, so it just makes its way through somehow. Oops. But we got the hydrogen where we want it to be. And we're gonna be disable the building. So whoever gets there first. So if I bring... So as you can see, it's only hydrogen right now going through. As that's the way you want it here. What we have? We got hydrogen here. So onto that pipe, I'm gonna have to disconstruct it. Because as you can see, the hydrogen cannot go anywhere. It should be doing a nice circle. I hope that this only have hydrogen. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to make sure this gets destroyed, release the hydrogen fast enough. Okay, so let's construct a bridge. I have to do that again. What do we got here? We got hydrogen. Here we got nothing. Okay, to construct this. So we're gonna be redoing this. So like this. Okay, what we got running around now. So there we go. So we just got our hydrogen. And what we can do to make sure that it runs properly is to actually connect this to the generator. So the hydrogen actually gonna have a room to go, so it will go to the generator. Next off, let's try this again. Oh no, don't cancel this. So what we want to do, we're gonna put right here, so that there's somewhere for the oxygen to go. So as soon as this bridge gets done, You should see the magic of it. As long as it gets done before they go to bed, before this pipe gets empty. Please do it. There we go. So as you can see now, all the oxygen just went back to our base, and the hydrogen just pulled into that pipe. That easy. So, as I mentioned, is because only the oxygen can get you to that loop. So the oxygen goes down here. I think I said oxygen twice. Oh well, I'm sure you figured it out. So now that we have our nice fancy filter that works, our hydrogen generator is going to work fine. What we can do is connect it to our pumps and electrolyzer. So if we go in power overview, so it'll output 800. We got 750, 820. So we're going to be short a little bit, but this one should not run at all time because sometimes it'll get into a vacuum. So even if they skip a cycle or two for now, I'd say we're good. Alright, so we're gonna be doing power, we said, but we're just slightly over. Sorry, so we only got 800 coming out of the generator, so we are good with using the regular wire because it can take up to 1,000. Like this. I'm gonna have to deconstruct that tile. Unfortunate. So this guy now is pumping. What we could do to try to save on hydrogen, we could put a battery as well. So I'm going to put a smart battery right here, made out of iron. Yeah, sure. And automation power. No, I don't want it here. I want to have access to the battery, so if I ever need to change the element, we can. So I'm going to close this off. Then get the battery. Smart battery. Connect the battery to this. Using power. And we're going to also use automation wire made out of gold so that the battery can control this. Unfortunately, now we got all our hydrogen that was in the pipe into the base. This gas vent should not be on this side. Should output on this side of the base, so that this here can kind of become a vacuum at some point. I wonder if I use mini pumps, if that would be enough. No, they only pump 50. And this guy here outputs, how much I say? 180? Electrolyzer. 112. So I would need 3 little pumps. How much power would that save me? Ventilation. So this one does 240. This one would give me 180. So we're better off with 3 pumps. Let's go for efficiency. I can deconstruct this because I don't need it. I need to deconstruct that so they can build this portion of it. Might even be able to do that. There, I'll help them. So, and for the little pumps, all we need is plastic. So, we got lots of that. So I'm gonna put 1, 2, and let's go 3. I don't know if that'll work. We will know soon enough. So I hope that they will force themselves to go this way, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. There we go. So all the pumps are now powered up. Or they should anyway, soon enough. Probably need to prime this generator just to get it started again. There, that works. So this guy's deconstruct this, deconstruct those two just to get the material out. I'll put my little block again. So I'll need to bring that power just to charge up my system real quick. So let's put a switch right here. What keeps popping? I can't pick it up. So I got a switch so that once the system is kick-started, we'll be able to use it. And then we want to close up this portion. Actually, cancel those two. Oh, damn it. Now little Nisbet is stuck in there, so discard this ore. Deconstruct this. You're stuck in there anyway. Okay, and then I want to close this area. So there's less area for the oxygen to go, so it will make bigger packets when the pumps go. So right now they're pumping for 22 grams. It's definitely not efficient. This one pumps 100 grams. So we want to be able to get as big of a packets as we can. So now we can put this here, so that'll seal this area. And all we need next will be a little bit of water. So the water will come from over here in a bit, but for now we're going to use our pump. Just going to be a matter of changing this out. Like here, put a bridge. So I'm gonna have to deconstruct this again so that they can jump in. Same with this side. I hope they'll be able to reach there. New printables. What we got? Dreklet. I kind of want an extra dupe right now. Someone with really high operation. Early bird. Oh. Cannot. Yeah, cannot build. That's not great. Yeah, I'll go with Camille. There we go. Let's put her on a schedule that matches what she. Oh no. Well, there. She's gonna go here. She doesn't have any buff or anything for day night, so she'll go with Ashan. Yeah. So that should be good. So we got 8. Our food keeps going up, so I think I can afford an extra one, an extra dupe. So we'll see if that happens. So that means that our barracks here is now filled. I put a few pictures everywhere, so our decor gets really high. Hurry up, little dupes, because we need to make this happen. Alright, there we go. So I wonder, are these picking up any? Why is this one? Oh, I didn't configure the battery properly. So the battery right now is just powered through the switch. So now I should have water making its way up. Yes. Okay, so now it's the time we're gonna want to close this, close that. Turn off the switch. So now we're outputting hydrogen and oxygen. And as soon as this one here gets closed, we'll be able to close this one. Now, we hope that everything works properly. So, low threshold will be 5. There, so our hydrogen generator pumps out all the hydrogen get sent to it. So this pipe didn't really work, so I'll probably have to put my pump vertically so that it can output into that pipe. So, might require a little bit more power. I don't think that'll be self-sufficient, just because it doesn't produce enough. But on the bright side, we should have hydrogen kind of going up a little bit. So I'll leave this turned on. Yeah, it might backfeed through. So might have issues with breaking wires. Oh yeah, because this... How much are you supposed to use? We said we do 112 and use 100. So I should have a little bit more oxygen. But right now I'm only out pumping 100 because I only got 2 pumps. And my pump arrangement doesn't really work. So I might have to break this up and fix it. Might do it between episodes. But other than that, looks like our oxygen, lots of oxygen coming out. It's a little warm, so eventually that's going to be an issue. Could be an issue. But since we got our base cooling going, I would hope that the temperature won't be too much of an issue by the time the oxygen reach the base. We are at 18 degrees, so oh, here it's really cold too. Yeah, so the base starting to be actually too cold now. And is this guy working? 129 degrees steam. So this here should now be able to hold. Let's go and put. Oh, what do I miss? I miss everything. Damn it. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just do my cooling loop in between episodes in order to ensure that the cooling actually goes through the the steam turbine. I'm also gonna put a layer of oil, same idea, so that the cooling gets passed through the whole room. I'm gonna put steam turbine here, and hopefully it'll work just fine. And we'll have an extra little power going. It should reduce the temperature of that steam, so as it's 130, it'll output 70 degrees of water. And then this should be self-sufficient, kinda. It'll require power from the outside, but... So, well, I hope you liked the video. I'll reach my 30-minute mark, so I will see you guys on episode number 12, and hopefully it'll come in another couple days, depending on how much busy I get. So, if you enjoy the videos, share them with a friend, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and that's really appreciated. So I will see you guys around, and you guys have a good one.